President Donald Trump has a lot to worry about. As has been widely reported, former Vice President Joe Biden is leading in the polls by double digits. Trump's debate performance did not result in a bump in the polls, despite being more civilized than the first one. And Republicans aren't exactly enthusiastic about his performance either. In fact, an analysis of voter sentiment shows very high negative results for the U.S. at large for Donald Trump among all potential voters, including Republicans. Even in strongly Republican states, such as Mississippi, Republicans expressing negative sentiments towards Trump are running at 50%. In the U.S. at large, less than a quarter of all Republicans express positive sentiments towards Trump. Looking at the last 3 days of sentiment results using the Lux Election 2020 Big Data Analysis Engine from IGC, over half of all voters express negative sentiments towards Trump, while only about 20% expressed positive sentiment towards the president. Meanwhile, Biden's negative sentiment is running in the high 30% range, but among far fewer potential voters. It's important to note that the Lux engine is not a poll. It measures comments about candidates and issues on social media and rates them as to whether they appear to be negative, neutral or positive. In addition, Lux uses a series of rules to filter out comments from social media users who are not in the U.S. and not of voting age, as well as determining whether they appear to be Democrats, Republicans or whether their party affiliation is unknown. It's also important to know that most statements are not expressions of support or opposition for a specific candidate. Instead, they are statements relating to the candidate and the candidate's positions on the issues. High negative sentiment may not be related to how a person votes, but there is some evidence that it can show that some voters may not feel compelled to vote at all. An earlier version of Lux used in 2016 showed very high negative sentiment towards Hillary Clinton, despite a lead in the polls. While Clinton did win the popular vote, her turnout in critical swing states was low. The evidence of that appeared in high negative sentiment in those states. It may be that this negative sentiment kept at least some voters at home instead of going to vote. What it may mean for 2020: Donald Trump already has an uphill battle for re-election. If the polls are right, and they are likely close, the only chance he has to win is to get out the vote in a series of key swing states to give him a path to the 270 electoral votes he needs to be elected. Right now, pundits are showing polling that indicates that Joe Biden already has enough states even without the toss-up states to reach 270, if the states in question go as predicted. But with a major effort, as happened in 2016, Trump can get enough votes in those key states to win them, and with that the electoral votes. That's what happened in 2016.